So Captain Marvel directs Nick Fury masquerading as Moss from the IT crowd in a movie about pointy-headed sparkly horsies. I mean, come on, who wouldn't want to watch Unicorn Store? Brie Larson directs this quirky comedy that she also stars in as Kit, who is an art school dropout, and she just finds that her life is not turning out the way that she wants. Through a mysterious letter, she is given the opportunity to get her childhood dream animal, which is a unicorn, if though she can get certain parts of her life in order. Samuel L. Jackson is the salesman who is selling the unicorn. And his performance is fine. I mean, it's just Sam Jackson being Sam Jackson. Joan Cusack and Bradley Whitford play Kit's parents, and they do a really good job. They're very convincing. They are portraying therapists, and I mean, they're just good at it. They bring a level of caring and concern and compassion that you can hear in their voices, you can see in their eyes, and so their performances are really good, especially when they're together. Mamadou Athie is Virgil, and he is a hardware store employee who Kit hires to build the unicorn stable. He doesn't know he's building a stable, and he certainly doesn't know it's for a unicorn. When he's first approached, he's just asked if he can help her build something. Now, his character is very grounded, but he is also very loving, very sweet, very kind, and he brings that level of normalcy, I guess, to the character of Kit. The whole story has a feel of Napoleon Dynamite, and that's not just because it's a quirky film. I mean, all of the characters are kind of outcasts, and they're struggling to find their place and struggling to fit in. The story is sweet, but it's just not as deep or as impactful as I would have liked or as would have hoped. I mean, it just really seems surface level, and there was a lot more there that they could have delved into, but they didn't, and so thus say, you know, when they stay very surface level, just kind of like, well, okay, it's all right then. I do really like the visual symmetry that Larson brings in her directing style. I mean, it reminds me a lot of a Wes Anderson film. Now, it's not as anal to that degree, and it doesn't have some of the same nuances that a Wes Anderson film has, but as far as just the visual symmetry that you see in a lot of his films, Larson brings that too, and so it was neat to see, and the shots are framed really well. I mean, it's a beautiful thing to watch, and you have all of these colors throughout the film, and just, you know, it's art, and it's creative, and it's weird, and she's quirky, and she's funny, and she's sweet, and she's, I mean, you know, it's kind of Arrested Development there, but she's still likable, and you can empathize with her a little bit. So even though I enjoyed the performances and I thought the story was sweet, it just lacked that overall depth that I was hoping for. Something that was a little bit more impactful, because it wasn't overly funny or overly hilarious, and then it also wasn't overly deep. So it was just kind of there. So, you know, pretty forgettable after a little bit of time. That being said though, it's not a bad first effort for Brie Larson's feature-length directorial debut. I hope we get to see more from her, and I'm curious to see what else she can do. There's no sex, nudity, or violence, but there is some profanity. I give Unicorn Store 3 out of 5 couches. If you could own a mythical character or a mythical just creature, what would it be? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this review, please give it a like. Also, don't forget to share and subscribe. I'm Chris. This is Movies and Munchies. Thanks for couching with me.